Hey, this is Mike from Brodequin filming for the Brutally Delicious podcast. Since the theme is spicy, I'm going to go with some Indian chicken korma. It's got about 9 different spices in it, and the heat's really up to you. You can crank it up as high as you want. So the first thing we're going to do, fire up our stove here. I'm going to go with about 3 tablespoons of butter. Get that nice and melty. What I'm going to do is throw some onions in here. I use sweet onions. Maybe it's because I live in the South. I don't know. I love them. Went with about probably 3 medium-sized sweet onions. I went ahead and chopped that up off camera so you wouldn't have to hear all the various noises and whatnot. So I'm just going to go and wait for this butter to get warm, and then I'm going to throw those in there. Alright, now our butter's nice and warmed up. I'm going to go ahead and throw those onions in there. Just want to go ahead and brown these a little bit. You don't have to turn them into soup. Just want to get a nice, slightly caramelized texture to these. Make sure they're nice and covered in that 3 tablespoons of butter. 3 tablespoons of butter, of course, is a guideline. Feel free to use more or less. Actually, don't use less. Use 3 tablespoons at least. Alright, we're going to go ahead and let these cook for probably about 3 minutes. And while this is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get the spices together. Alright, so let's get moving on our spices. First we're going to start off with some ginger. I'm going to go about 2 tablespoons of that. It would be much more convenient if I had this in a larger jar like all the others, but whatever, it works. Obviously you can tell this is not a perfect science. But, you know, get as close as you can. Go with tablespoons of garlic. That would be 2 tablespoons, if I could speak. There we go. Up next we've got some coriander. With 2 tablespoons of that as well. Roughly 2 tablespoons, again. It's good enough, you'll never notice. Up next, cumin. 2 tablespoons of that as well. That's probably more like 3. It's alright. Alright, curry. Personally, my favorite part is the curry. Now, when I was digging up recipes for this years ago, most of them had about 2 tablespoons of curry, but I've found over the years that curry is amazing. So I always start with 4. And I always end up adding more later. Okay, what do we got next? Only 1 tablespoon of the tamarick, however you say it. I have no idea. But that's alright. You know what I'm talking about. 1 tablespoon. There we go. Sorry about that. Paprika. Tablespoon of that as well. There we go. Alright. Move on to some salt. Gotta have it. I'm going to go with about a teaspoon of this. There we go. And obviously when you get more comfortable with making this, you're going to change things up. I know I always do. Move on to the cardamom. Memory serves, I think it's 1 teaspoon. Hold on, let me search my brain here. No, it's half. There we go. Boom. Cayenne. Now here's where you can bring the heat. If you want it a little hotter, just go ahead and turn up the cayenne. Personally, I would probably throw about a tablespoon in here for total face melting, but since I'm making this for other people, I'm going to go ahead and be a little moderate and just use a half teaspoon there. Alright, and here's our spice blend. I'm going to go ahead and mix that up a little bit. You can whisk this together. I'm not whisking it because it'd be metal on metal and super loud for the camera, so I'm not going to do that. Alright, now let's go ahead and check on our onions and see where those are at. So the onions are looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and dump in 4 large chicken breasts that I've already cubed up off screen. Set that to the side here. I'll go ahead and mix this up, and I'm just going to go ahead and wait till this chicken's nice and brown and cooked through. 165 degrees. I don't know what that would be in Celsius for our non-US viewers. I'm sure you can look it up. Can't really give you a time on how long this takes because it just takes as long as it does. The pan's kind of crowded, which is generally not a good thing, but I like to keep everything in the same pan. I don't want to lose any flavor or anything. I'm not draining anything off. Everything's just kind of staying in the same spot. I'll let that sit there. And while that's going, I'm going to start another pan to the side. Because what I want to do is take these spices that we just mixed up, throw those in there, empty pan, no season or no butter, nothing like that. Just want to spread these out. Just want to get them warmed up. I don't want them to burn or anything. I just want to warm them up so they start releasing those flavors, get nice and aromatic. I did whisk them together when I was off screen. Just take a second for that to warm up. So our chicken's up to temperature. I would say it looks good, but it doesn't. That's okay. We're going to cover it with tons of spices. Go ahead and take our spices that we warmed up, didn't burn. Go ahead and dump them all in there. I'll set this off to the side. Now here's the part where you might have to add some extra water. Not sure. Just want to go ahead and get this really well incorporated. This is one of the benefits of cooking it all in the same pan. So these spices are going to go ahead and soak up all that juice, butter, everything. Mixing it all together. The goal is to get everything well coated. Oh, also, turn down the heat a little bit. I don't want to burn any spices. Who knows what that would taste like? I'm assuming it wouldn't be good. Okay. Looks pretty good. Go ahead and leave it there. And now for some tomato sauce. Go ahead and pour 24 ounces of tomato sauce in here. I just used canned tomato sauce. We do grow our own herbs and vegetables and things. We've just never turned it into a sauce, so it seems like it makes a lot more sense to just buy it. Alright. Get this nice and stirred up here. Now this is actually going to simmer for about 10 minutes once you get it nice and blended. And while that's simmering, we can go ahead and make our sauce. Okay, now for the sauce. First ingredient is going to be whole milk plain yogurt. Don't use Greek yogurt. It's way too thick. You don't want to mess with that. I tried it once. It was a terrible idea. Also, don't use flavored yogurt, just plain full-fat yogurt. That is the key. We're going with 1.5 cups of that. Well, we need this. Dumping this into the blender here. Go ahead and take these same cups. Fill them full of heavy cream, full fat, heavy cream. Don't skimp on the fat, that's where all the flavor is. So we got 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Off to the side. Grab this guy, make sure we don't miss anything. Boom. Clean up the kitchen later because this is super messy. Alright, what's next? I'm going to go with full fat coconut milk. The original recipe I found ages ago was for 12 ounces, I believe, but this is a 13.5 ounce can. Not a big deal. Alright. Last but not least, we got some whole salted cashews. Delicious. I'm going to go with 3/4 of a cup of these. And voila, we're going to throw this on the blender and let it sit there until we're ready for it. So tomato sauce, chicken, onions, and spice mixture has been simmering for about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat and slide it off. Grab some pot holders so I don't melt my fingers off. There we go. Alright, now we're going to start some rice. I use basmati rice for this. I've got 6 cups of water in here. We're going to go ahead and bring that up to a boil. We can get this taken care of while we wait for this to cool down. You really want to bring this down, not necessarily room temperature, but you don't want it to be steaming and everything else because you're going to be mixing in yogurt, cream, the stuff we just put together. So let that sit there, cool down, wait for this to boil. Got 6 cups of water. It's already to a boil. I do my rice a little bit differently. I like it a little bit chewier. So I got 6 cups of water. I'm going to go with 3 cups of basmati rice. Dump that in there. What may make this a little bit different is I go ahead and let it boil, and I wait until the boiling water is about even with the rice before I turn it off the heat and cover it. But as we watch this water wait to boil is a great time to talk about the new Brodequin album. We released March 22nd through Season of Mist. It's our first release with Season of Mist, our 4th album, which is also our first album in 20 years. And as luck would have it, it's the best sounding album we've ever done. Probably the best album we've ever done. I don't know, something in that giant break made us better. I don't know what's up. But I would definitely encourage everyone to give it a listen. If you've heard our old stuff, you can definitely tell it's us, but you can actually hear what we're playing, probably for the first time. Production's great. Josh Welshman took care of the mixing. You may know him from Defeated Sanity. Sent it over to Brad Boatwright at Audio Siege for the mastering. It just sounds incredible. I really can't say enough about it. Check it out. You can check it out at brodequinofficial.com. There's some links on there for social media and stuff. I'm not really a social media guy, but our drummer Brennan handles it. Jamie's also social media as well, so you can kind of find out what we're doing. Not sure if we have any tours planned right now. I guess by the time this airs, we've already been at Maryland Death Fest. Fun factoid, we played the first 2 Maryland Death Fests, took a giant break, and now we're back, so that's pretty cool. Season of Mist is probably going to be your best source for everything Brodequin. They've got all the merch. They've done a crazy amount of merch. Frankly, I'm shocked. I mean, we've always been big fans of merch and had plenty, but man, there's so many designs that they wanted to do, and they've been nothing but incredibly supportive of what we're doing. So I would definitely encourage everybody to check them out as well and check out their bazillion other releases. They've been churning for years and years. So longtime fans finally getting to work with them. It's pretty cool. Okay, so this is going to boil. This is not even remotely cool enough yet, so we got more time to wait. Our chicken mixture has finally cooled down, so now it's time to put our blended yogurt, cream, cashews. Made this super, super fine. And mix that right in. As you can tell, this dish is pretty involved, but what's the saying? Good food takes time. It's true. Alright, good enough on that. I'm going to go ahead and stir this in. Also going to get the heat going again. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on low because we want this to simmer. All these flavors to combine. You can tell when it's nice and mixed in because it'll be a beautiful orange color. All these streaks will go away. You have to watch this. You're going to let this simmer for 20 minutes, but you got to keep your eye on it, especially depending on if you're using a gas cooktop, electric cooktop. You do not want this to stick, and it will. And don't worry about the consistency. It'll definitely thicken up. I'm going to let it reduce a little bit. I've never added anything into this to get it to thicken up, like cornstarch or whatnot. Just let it thicken up naturally. So, let's let the simmering begin. Alright, we've stirred, we've blended, we've done it all. Now it's time to eat. Start off with a slice of naan, prepared by my lovely wife. Go with a little bit of basmati rice here. Whoops. Make a nice little bed for our delicious korma. Grab a Loch Ness Monster. Voila! And there you have it. Indian chicken korma, Mike from Brodequin style.